I was just going to say that I understand, yes, how on the surface level Hindu identity is important because, you know, growing up when you go to high school and that sort of thing, I do take pride in saying that, yes, I'm Hindu, and, you know, when there's a talk on world religions and Hinduism comes up, I strongly stand up. But the only thing that I don't, I guess I disagree with is that it's okay on the surface level, but then essentially in Hinduism, what I feel is that when you're giving so many identities to something and you're just getting stuck to it, it's like the idea of Maya, like, you know, that is gold, that this is an ornament is not the reality. The reality is that it is gold. So that's all I wanted to say, that I think people get so caught up on the idea of, oh, I'm Hindu identity, which one, yes, you're being attacked is important, but then when you go deeper into the Vedic studies or whatever, it's irrelevant.
I think this is an important point. If I may, I'd like to give a response to this also. So if you look at Hinduism, non-duality, Advaita, right? Your name is Jay? Jaya. So if you look at Advaita philosophy, non-duality, Vedanta, all of that, there is oneness, there is no difference and so on, at a certain level of consciousness, which we are not at, At that level of consciousness, there would be no devas and asuras, there would be no Mahabharata, there would be no Dharma and Adharma having a battle, there would be no moral dilemmas, because whatever you do, it's all one anyway. But in the world at which we live, there is karma because there is duality. In the world which we live, provisionally in which we live, there is action, there is accountability, there is dharmic action, there is non-dharmic action. So the mere basis of the whole Gita, the basis of the whole Dharma is that in the world in which we currently are, there is difference. Even though ultimately there isn't difference, and it's mithya and maya, all those are nice words. And we can intoxicate ourselves, and people have trained us in the 1800s and 1900s to remove Hindu resistance. One of the things the colonizers did from Ram Mohan Roy onwards, they inculcated a whole lot of Hindus to start not resisting by saying it's all the same. So there is no problem. Whether he owns my land, I own my land, doesn't matter. Whether he rules or that rules, who cares? So this has created what is called moral relativism and world negation, a tendency to negate the world and not take social action. And then we as Hindus get blamed for that we are actually not being socially active because we are adopting an escapist philosophy. So if you are a realist, look at society as real, you have to start with empirical things. So as a student, you are concerned about getting good grades. One could say, well, suppose you got bad grades, you didn't get into college, another kid got into college. There's no difference. He got into college and you got into college, the same thing. Difference between you and him is mithya. We could say, if you're buying a car and the guy charged you $5,000 extra, why bother? Because whether the $5,000 is in your pocket or his pocket, it's all mithya, it doesn't matter, it's all maya. But wait, let me finish this. Because I get this a lot from Indians. And I'm making a point here. The point I'm going to make is, when it comes to selfish, what's good for me, Indians are very sharp negotiators. They want the best price for the house, they want the best job, they want a career advancement. In business, they want the best deal. So when it comes to me and what's in it for me, we are very intensely competitive. Then the question of identity is there, because this identity belongs to my company, and this is the competitor's company, and I want more market share for my company. And this is the identity, my house and my family, and I want to maximize the benefits for myself. I am very much identity oriented when it comes to selfish things, be it in my personal life, be it as a student, be it as a professor or a businessman. I'm very much identity oriented, and I'm very fiercely competitive, protecting my identity against others. But when it comes to Dharma, I don't want to do a whole lot. So a convenient excuse is to say, oh, why do we have any identity? So for Dharma, there is no identity, but for me personally, there is a lot of identity. So I always reverse this and ask a person, before you want to advocate a Dharma which is without identity, in the mundane world of identities, you should first become a sannyasi and give up your personal identity. You should give up your personal, all the things you own. Now, we don't want to do that, right? Because it's not a good idea. So we want to have personal identity and selfishness in the realms where we have needs and all that. But in the realm of protecting Dharma, we want to escape by saying, who cares?
No,
That's my response.
What I said is it's on the surface level.
Yeah, can I just say something?
Let her. I'm just
holding her up.
Rajiv Malhotra, I think what she was asking is not that why is the Hindu identity important. She's saying that it's very important to be aware of what the Hindu identity is. What she's trying to say is that when you get past the point where you realize the importance of Hindu identity, why is it then that we're still pushing that, oh, we're Hindu, oh, we're Hindu? We need to realize that Hindu identity is up to a level. After that point, we need to be able to understand and accept everyone. It's not degrading the importance of Hindu individuality, it's being able to understand that it can only take you so far. After a point, you have to understand that, okay, we're Hindu, you're Muslim, you're a Christian, but at the end of the day, we're all children of God. I think that's what, is that right?
Yes.
Okay, I think that's what she was trying to ask.
That's very,
Can I respond?
yeah, please respond. We have 2 minutes.
It's a very good question. That when we see that we all are one, right? We all are children of God. Then why is there such segregation? So when Rajiv is saying about identity crisis, the true identity crisis is about myself. Who am I? Right? Before I say I'm Hindu, I'm Muslim, I'm Christian, the one who is saying I am Hindu or I am Muslim or I am Christian, who is this I? Who am I? So once if this is understood, this identity is realized that I am a soul and my real religion, the Swadharma, is peace, which is common to any soul, no matter that soul, if he is belonging to Hindu religion, he is belonging to Muslim, he is a Christian or whoever he is. Every one of us, each one of us here is a soul. And that is our true identity, about being a soul in this body. But when we are not in this identity of being a soul, but when we come into the consciousness of that I am in this body, maybe white body or brown body or black body, then all the other religions start. And therefore there is a disunity. So once we are in this identity that I am a soul, and my religion is peace. No matter, even if you are a Christian, what do you want ultimately? Peace? Everybody wants peace. So peace is my true religion, Dharma.
Very good point.
Just a quick thing before I give you, you raise your hand. I think it's very important to understand that in our Dharma, there is the Adhyatmic world, where I strive to deconstruct the self. I'm really deep into that in my sadhana. So it's it's Advaita 101 which was said over there. The Adhyatmic or inner realm where you deconstruct the self, you witness yourself, and it's all a Nama-Roop, which is acting, and you try to calm it, and so you live in there more, you go inner and inner in an identity-free self. And then when you have no more identities left, like I'm not Rajiv, I'm not the son of somebody or father or this or that, and I'm not really this body or this mind, then I've sort of liberated myself from all the identities and from the body, and then I've attained moksha, and then what I really realized is that truly my identity is as a supreme being. I understand all that, we understand that. We do really understand that. We've had so many talks on that, and we practice it, we understand it. But we are here in also another world, which is a social world. There is Adhyatmic, which is inner, and Lokik, which is worldly. Dharma is both. You are an Adhyatmic being having been put into the Lokik world. So you also have to live according to the Kurukshetra, according to the time, place, context. You have to live in that. So while the inner quest is to become free of all these identities, I have to play a role in the outer world. So which means that the capital I, as they say, the true self, the higher self, the Brahman, the Atman, has to deconstruct the small I of being Rajiv and this man who has all these issues and problems going on. The higher self of I is the true identity I have. But I have been asked to play a role in the social world as in the Leela, as the Rajiv. So while playing the role, while being the I, some capital I, which I understand really well, we can talk for hours on that. While being the capital I, the true Brahman and Atman, the Dharma says that I have been placed here in the Leela to be the role in the role of Rajiv. So I'm talking about Rajiv role having an identity. It's like there is a Leela going on, and I'm supposed to be a cricketer, I'm supposed to be a movie star, I'm supposed to be a beggar. That's the role I'm playing. I know that I'm just acting it, but I'm really someone else. But 24/7, since I was born, I'm playing this role of Rajiv. Okay? So the idea is that I have to understand that's not really who I am. That is one quest. But the outer quest of playing the role of Rajiv, I can't run away from. So the inner quest is not based on running away from the outer journey. This panel is not on how to achieve moksha in a weekend. We are not here for a weekend moksha workshop, frankly. We already have those paths, each of us who have gurus, but we are here trying to understand in the socio-political economic dimension, the society of America that we live in, what is our identity in the roles we are playing. So first I want to clarify this misunderstanding, that being a Hindu, having no identity, is in the inner realm, what we all understand. But the Hindu without any identity, the inner being, is asked to play a role in the Leela where he does have an identity. In this Leela, he is a Kaurav or a Pandav, he is told. He is a Devata and Rakshasa, there are forces like that, we know. So in this outer realm, there is identity. In our case, the outer realm happens to be America. We must understand that Kurukshetra very well and not imagine that this is some Devalok where there are no identities. Okay? So that's a delusion a lot of our gurus have actually propagated because they fail to differentiate between Adhyatma Vidya, which is what you should practice in your private, and the Laukika Vidya of living in the world as a Hindu. This differentiation we haven't had. Therefore, a lot of our people are confused. The moment there is identity, they want to escape from it, they start quoting Vedanta and saying, "Why I have no identity, I'm this higher self." But that is not true in the context of the Leela where the discussion is taking place. So let's make a few principles. One, we are having a discussion about the Laukic world, outward world, the world of Leela. This world does have identities because we're playing roles. And in our particular Leela, it's the American Leela, American context Leela, where we must understand how this identity works here. So now we come to the discussion saying, okay, from a pragmatic point of view, in this outward world of Leela, knowing that I am actually an identity person who was never born and never died, knowing all that, I now have to play this role within identity, within context. Okay? And now the question is, in that role, is there relevance of a Hindu identity? That is a very important breakthrough we made.